Thanks so much for joining us here on the CBN News Channel. I'm Ephraim Graham. For the first time in its history, a pope from Latin America will now lead the Catholic Church. The surprise choice, Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio of Argentina, now Pope Francis, electrified the faithful at Vatican City. Today, his election is creating excitement around the world. CBN's Chris Mitchell was in St. Peter's Square when the announcement was made.
The election of Pope Francis is a series of firsts. The first modern European pope, first from the Jesuit order, the first pope from Latin America, and the first to take the name of Francis, synonymous with simplicity and humility. CBN News spoke with evangelist Luis Palau, who has met the Pope several times.
The most surprising thing to me was he also is a great friend of the evangelicals. He has tremendous respect for evangelicals. He was a friend. I was so impressed that he really does know Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. And I say that carefully because the way he prayed is the prayer of a child of God speaking to his Heavenly Father.
On the second day of the conclave, his election had the world waiting and watching. We're here in St. Peter's Square. The smoke just went on the Sistine Chapel. It's obviously white. The crowd is just cheering. It's ecstatic about what's happening right now. The background, you can hear the bells of St. Peter's ringing, which confirms that the smoke actually was white. Sometimes there's a question mark, but the bells confirm that there's a new pope. The Latin phrase is habemus papam, we have a pope. About an hour later, the world met Pope Francis. Thousands had flocked to the square itself. Thousands more came when the white smoke came out of the Sistine Chapel. And now he's making his first address to the world. One of the first acts as Pope was a prayer request, that the people would pray a silent prayer for him.
He warmed up very quickly, and the great impression was that he's a man of prayer.
Many Latinos in the crowd said, "Get ready for a Latin American Pope."
As I heard Pope Francesco giving his final blessing and his final goodbye, you can sense a very this South American flavor that's very unique.
You need to be Latino to understand what you feel. I mean, this is like people from your blood. I mean, people from your. He understands. You can trust me. This gentleman is going to do so well.
The close Pope we have felt today, it's a signal of what we are going to experience in these days. A friend of the people.
Now Pope Francis faces the daunting task of leading the Catholic Church. Catherine Lopez of National Review says many Catholics are rediscovering the Great Commission.
A critical aspect of that is this mandate that we have to share the gospel, not just live the gospel, but share the gospel. And Catholics, evangelicals do that a lot better than Catholics do. So that's a huge part of it. Knowing your faith, living your faith, and sharing your faith, for goodness sake. Because if you believe it's true, why wouldn't you share it?
Many Catholics now hope and pray Pope Francis will help spread that good news of Jesus to the world. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, St. Peter's Square, Vatican City.
You heard the comments from Argentine evangelist Luis Palau in that story. We wanted to share with you another part of that interview. It's a story Palau told us about his meeting with then Cardinal Bergoglio before one of Palau's big crusades in Argentina.
I asked him, Bishop, I said, any word of advice for me? And he said, yes. Speak to the young people the gospel as clearly as you know how, he said, because, Luis, you know that 80% at least are really baptized pagans. They don't know Jesus Christ, the young people of Argentina today. I mean, I thought that was significant. And then, to my surprise, I said, any further advice? He said, no. What I'd like you to do is, would you lay hands on me and please pray for me that God would fill me with the Holy Spirit and that I may honor the Lord till the end of my career.
Now, to hear the full interview with Luis Palau, check out our website, cbnnews.com. The evangelist will also be a guest on CBN's Newswatch later today. As Pope Francis takes over at the Vatican, many wonder if he will push reform and try to resolve the church sex abuse scandal. The group representing many of abuse victims hope so, and its leaders are already speaking out. Dale Hurd has more.
The continuing sexual abuse scandals have, in many eyes, undermined the moral authority of the Church and driven away parishioners. A 2009 Pew study found that 27% of those who left the church said the sex abuse scandals influenced their decision. Tim Lennon says he was abused by a priest when he was 13, but he's hopeful that the new pope can bring healing and resolution to the sex abuse scandal.
They picked a person coming from the third world who has some reputation of dealing with the issue, and he may sweep house and do something concrete, and we can hope that he takes a latter action, strong action, so that children are protected.
Abuse victim Udo Stratinsky is also optimistic.
I felt pretty good about him. I thought, this is much better than I dreamt of.
He believes the fact that the new pope has chosen the name of a humble figure, St. Francis, is a good sign.
I think the man wants to send a message with that name. And in a very gentle way, he's saying, no more business as usual.
Kim Daniels, director of Catholic Voices USA, says she hopes Pope Francis intends to deal with the hard issues and rebuild the church.
But what I know about him is that he is really a voice for the voiceless and vulnerable. That's the message of our church.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Victims of sexual assault in America's armed forces are demanding reform. Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel has ordered a review of the military's handling of rape cases after an Air Force general threw out the aggravated assault conviction of a pilot. Wednesday, military women and men shared their stories of abuse before a Senate panel. They testified the military's criminal justice system is broken.
The year that I was raped, that same year I was raped again by another soldier in my unit. Another year, I was sexually harassed by a commissioned officer in my unit.
One Navy officer said an estimated 56% of sexual assault victims in the military are men. A bill has been introduced to strip commanders of the power to overturn verdicts or to reduce sentences. Democrats in the Senate have finally put together their first budget in 4 years. It includes nearly $1 trillion in new taxes, but it still doesn't balance the budget. In fact, it adds $4 trillion more to the national debt. The White House is calling the Senate Democrats' budget, quote, a concrete plan. President Obama spent time with donors to his new policy arm at an expensive event in Washington last night. The White House says Organizing for Action is designed to help the middle class, but some say the new setup smells funny. White House correspondent Jennifer Wishon explains.
Some watchdog groups call it a scandal waiting to happen. President Obama says he's simply mobilizing people to push his agenda through Congress.
The only idea here that we're promoting is the notion that if the American people are speaking out, organized, activated, that may give space here in Washington to do the kind of work, hopefully bipartisan work, that's required. But in order to do that, I'm going to need all your help.
The president is talking to donors to Organizing for Action, the nonprofit created out of his re-election machine, Obama for America. It's designed to redirect the power of his political campaign to back his policy agenda, deploying resources to promote items like gun control, immigration reform, and climate change. It's run by former top Obama advisors. Even the group's website looks an awful lot like the president's campaign website, raising questions about where the government in the White House ends and the political activities of Organizing for Action begins. First Lady Michelle Obama helped launch it.
This is your movement, and going forward, it can be whatever you make of it.
But for access, they'll likely have to spend money, a lot of it. A seat at this OFA founders' dinner with the president cost a cool $50,000 per person.
I just think that's wrong.
Bob Edgar is president of Common Cause, a group dedicated to open and accountable government. He says the president is blowing a chance to prove that he's serious about campaign finance reform and minimizing the role that money plays in politics.
Once the president won re-election, he should have stopped, thought about this organization, and organized from the bottom up and not from the top down.
The White House says OFA is for average Americans, and it denies reports that mega donors who bundle $500,000 or more for OFA will get their own quarterly meetings with the president.
OFA, again, was set up to promote the president's public policy agenda. And therefore, as anyone would expect, the president would likely meet with their representatives to discuss his agenda. Any notion, as we've talked about, that there's a price set for a meeting with the president is absurd.
The group promises to raise millions of dollars to help deploy an army of political activists to advance the president's agenda. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Westminster Theological Seminary in Pennsylvania has filed a lawsuit against the contraception mandate in Obamacare. The suit challenges the requirement forcing employers to provide health insurance for drugs that can induce abortions. 2 other Christian schools have already gone to court against the mandate. President Obama has picked a new head for the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships. Melissa Rogers led the Center for Religion and Public Affairs at Wake Forest University. She's also served as an attorney for the Baptist Joint Committee for Religious Liberty. Rogers replaces Joshua Dubois, who recently stepped down. She'll focus on policy goals that include reducing unintended pregnancies, promoting responsible fatherhood, and improving interfaith dialogue. Idaho is the first state to have its fetal pain abortion ban struck down. A federal judge overturned the law banning abortions after 20 weeks. The judge says the Supreme Court has ruled that a woman has an absolute right to an abortion before the point of viability. The ruling also overturns other abortion restrictions in Idaho. 10 states have enacted fetal pain laws since 2010. Only 3 states have had the laws legally challenged. Coming up, resources to strengthen your marriage. Best-selling author Bruce Feiler reveals his secrets to a happy family.
Today we're on a field trip to discover what inflation is doing to our paper money. In this hand is a $20 bill, and in this hand is a $20 US gold coin. They used to have the same buying power, but how much can they buy today? In this first basket is what my $20 bill buys: milk, bread, peanut butter, and jelly. And here's what one $20 gold coin will buy: 6 baskets full, worth nearly $2,000, almost 100 times more food, simply by owning gold dollars instead of paper dollars. History shows that the gold coins have been the best way to beat the rising cost of living. So class, the moral is that unless you want to live on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the future, you should turn some paper dollars into gold coins now. How and why is explained in a new book, The Great Debasement. Call the number below for a totally free copy. And that's the simple truth.
Help! If an emergency happened right now, you can have help at the push of a button with Medical Alert.
Remember when I took that fall, Mary?
Oh, yes, that was terrible.
Yes, it was.
Help!
And I thought, what if you hadn't been there? I ordered my Medical Alert the next day.
I can't describe how safe I feel now with my Medical Alert. You didn't know I was wearing it, did you?
Medical Alert is easy to install, waterproof, and covers you inside your home and out.
It helps me feel safe from fires, break-ins.
And of course, a Medical Alert. And if you don't have a home phone, don't worry. They have that covered.
There's always help at the push of a button. Don't wait till you need it.
Get Medical Alert for less than $1 a day. There are no long-term contracts. Order now and get your second button free. Call for your free brochure.
For your free Medical Alert system with second button free, call 800-575-8507.
From CBN.
Broken Eardrum is playing at the Civic tonight.
And you'll just have to miss it.
This is so incredibly unfair.
A special story of love and sacrifice.
Joy, Mom comes up with something.
Christopher Quantum, you and I are going to discuss your attitude right this minute. Superbook.
No!
Join the Superbook DVD Club and get Superbook's newest episode, He is Risen. Plus 2 copies to share with others. All for your gift of $25.
They have arrested Jesus, the Messiah. Do you not know that I have the power to crucify you?
No! Please! You can't! They've taken him to Golgotha. We must hurry. Mary is about to lose her son. The worst thing any mother could face. I am not leaving her.
Superbook. It's an amazing way to build a strong spiritual foundation in the children you love.
Mary, who are you looking for?
I've seen him! He is alive!
Superbook. He is Risen. Available now.
Knowing how to fight smart is one of the keys to building a successful home. That's what author Bruce Feiler says. Bruce has over 200 ideas to bring your family closer together in his latest book called The Secrets of Happy Families. He spoke with Charlene Israel about it.
Two big things we took away from The Secrets of Happy Families. One is you need to adapt to all the changes that are going on around you. So we now hold a weekly meeting on Sunday evenings. It's 20 minutes, and we say, what's working well in our lives? What's not? We bring the kids in, and what will we work on in the week ahead? It's a safe zone to discuss those problems that build up during the week. But the second thing, and maybe this has really been the number one thing most talked about in my book, we actually sat down and wrote a family mission statement. Other organizations do that. We went through this process. And someone said to me, can your kids really say what values are most important to you? I thought, well, maybe they can guess it, but we hadn't really had the conversation. So we piled into the bed, we had a pajama party, and we had this conversation, and we have a list now of our 10 core values. And the research shows if you define your best possible selves, you're more likely to achieve it. This allows us to all be very public what's most important to us as a family.
Taking each other for granted is a very big landmine, and we all know that for couples. What's the solution to that?
All families have conflict. There is fighting. But if you can control and limit it, you'll make your family happier. So what you want to do is spend less time worrying about the bad times, more time building up the positive memories, and they will outweigh that. You mentioned fight smarter. At the outset, we did a number of things in our family to improve this. One, we were fighting between 6 and 8. Turns out that's the highest stress time in families. You're coming in, everyone's hungry. Really? So we move, we don't have those difficult conversations at that time anymore. My wife and I would do it. I'd be at my desk, rigid like this desk. I was higher with my computer equipment. She was lower. Turns out I was in the power position. So we changed the dynamics, so we're now at the same level. And if we're having a really difficult conversation, we'll sit like you and I are standing now, side by side. Because if you're across from someone, you'll be more confrontational. Side by side, you'll be more collaborative. And that really, in some ways, is the whole point of this book. There's all these new ideas out there. I wanted to but they're excluded from the parents who need them. I wanted to put them in one book and say, here's a playbook. Pick the plays that will most help you.
Interesting, very interesting. Some of your discoveries clash with conventional wisdom, like the benefits of date night. Talk about some of the things you discovered.
What you want to do, the research shows, is go do something that's unusual. Drive to a new part of town, take a new class, do something where you're on the same side. It will rekindle that sense of discovery. Also, double dating is great because, again, the juices will get flowing and you will remind yourself what you like about your spouse. Can I just, by the way, talk about another big pink elephant, which is family dinner?
Uh-oh.
We're all told it's great for kids. And the research does show this, but it doesn't work in a lot of our lives. Turns out there's only 10 minutes of conversation in any dinner. The rest is take your elbows off the table or pass the milk.
Oh, wow.
You could take that 10 minutes, move it to any time of day.
Talking in the car or on the way to a game or whatever, you're spending time together.
Talking in the car is great, especially with older kids, because somehow if you want to have difficult conversations with them, eye contact stresses them out and makes them think, it's really important to me as your parent. Yeah. But if you're doing it not looking at each other. Yeah. And one of the great things, and this is my favorite tip from Happy Families, and that is talk about your family history. Researchers ask kids, do you know where your grandparents were born? Your parents went to high school. Maybe an aunt or uncle had an illness. The kids who knew more about their family history had more confidence that they could push through when they hit their own difficult times.
Bruce Feiler, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your time and your wonderful insights.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Bruce has over 200 ideas to bring your family closer together, and they're all in his latest book. It's called The Secrets of Happy Families, and it's available wherever books are sold.
Up next, parents say goodnight to sleepless nights. We'll tackle the myths about what's keeping your baby awake, and you too.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Parents know all too well about the sleepless nights that come with a new baby, but the lack of sleep is no laughing matter. It can cause serious problems for both the children and their parents. Now, as Laurie Johnson reports, there is new hope, according to America's most popular baby doctor.
Missy and Brandon Peters adore their new son, Lennox. It's just the lack of sleep that came with him that has them frazzled.
It's really challenging and a bit frustrating.
Most people think being a new parent means you're exhausted all the time, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's according to pediatrician Harvey Karp, who has helped millions of parents, including celebrities Michelle Pfeiffer, Pierce Brosnan, and Madonna. In his new book, The Happiest Baby Guide to Great Sleep, Dr. Karp clears up some myths passed down by many generations.
Should I try to be quiet so that way he doesn't wake up?
Myth number 1, babies should sleep in silence.
It's actually one of the biggest misconceptions we have about babies. Everyone thinks you got to tiptoe around the baby sleeping, but actually in the womb, it's a very kind of a dynamic world for babies. And the sound inside is louder than a vacuum cleaner 24/7. So to bring a baby into a quiet room is actually weird for them.
So give your baby some white noise as loud as a shower, which as a bonus drowns out other household noise.
Is there a specific white noise that works best with babies and maybe makes them a bit more comfortable at night?
You want a rumbly sound, that's like a train or a plane, that kind of a sound that kind of puts you to sleep. And you play that all night long for the entire first year of life.
How can we lengthen the amount of time that he sleeps at night?
Myth number 2, some babies sleep through the night.
You know how people say babies, my baby sleeps all night long. Well, no baby sleeps all night long. Every baby wakes up 3 or 4 times a night. But you wouldn't know it if they're able to put themselves to sleep. If they can't put themselves to sleep, then they're calling for you 3 times.
So how do you teach a child to put himself back to sleep? Check out the next myth.
I usually nurse him right before bed, and sometimes, well, most of the time, he falls asleep in my arms. Should we just slip him into bed?
Myth number 3, never wake a sleeping baby.
Nowadays, a lot of parents are told, don't let your baby fall asleep in your arms or at the breast, because if you slide him into bed asleep, he never really learns the skill of how to put himself to sleep in the middle of the night. And that's kind of true. But on the other hand, you can't keep a baby from falling asleep in your arms. And it's the most beautiful thing you ever do with your baby.
The good news is you can do both. Let your baby fall asleep in your arms and teach him to fall asleep on his own.
So when you slide him into bed, you wake him up a little bit. which I know sounds like, are you crazy? I would never do that. But here's the reason that you do it. You feed him. You've got the white noise playing about as loud as a shower, and you've got him swaddled up. So when he wakes up, he's kind of drunk from the milk anyway.
Wake him up just a little with a gentle jiggle or a light scratch on the bottom of his foot.
Want his eyes open 5 or 10 seconds, because in that 10 seconds, he's going to start to learn how to put himself to sleep at night.
So by putting these myths to bed, baby and parents can sleep well. That way, everyone is happier and healthier. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Coming up, a hero overpowers a gunman and saves a room full of people. Stay with us.
The game show of biblical proportions is back with more action, more fun, more stars. Kirk Franklin, Mary, and more nuns.
The nuns just whooped you, man.
The American Bible Challenge Season 2 premieres Thursday, March 21st at 9, 8 Central, only on GSN. Visit GSNTV.com to find GSN in your area.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. Then it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
The game show of biblical proportions is back with more action, more fun, more stars. Kirk Franklin, Mary, and more nuns.
The nuns just whooped you, man.
The American Bible Challenge Season 2 premieres Thursday, March 21st at 9, 8 Central, only on GSN. Visit GSNTV.com to find GSN in your area.
A Pittsburgh man is being called a hero after overpowering a gunman and saving an inn full of customers. Jerry Maroney jumped at a man who started firing into the crowd. He was hit in the arm by a bullet, but knew he had to stop the gunman.
I just didn't want to see nobody else get killed. There was a lot of people in there. I got 2. He shot again, and he got me. He nicked me here. I got him down. I just took the gun off. I had the gun off him.
Maroney says his actions came naturally and doesn't consider himself a hero. Those people would surely disagree. Well, that is going to do it for this edition of the CBN News Channel. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And take the time to tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Have a great day, everybody.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Introducing the CBN Bible from CBN.com. Now, an easier way to study the Bible and grow in your faith. Highlight your favorite verse. Read separate versions at a glance. Click and read a commentary. Or cross-reference your favorite verse using the Strong's Concordance. All the right tools to study the Bible, all in one place. The CBN Bible, available at cbn.com/Bible or the iTunes App Store.